Okay, this is my attending exercise for Luke 5:12 through 16. I've got faith as the central focus. And off of faith, of course, we have another big focus, which is Jesus, and of course the leper. And then you'll notice that a lot of little break-offs happen from there. So off of faith, we have prayer, crying out to Jesus. Now, cry out to Jesus, when I think about the leper, calling out to Jesus as he was coming down the road, it makes me think of that song, Just Cry Out to Jesus. And then up here, where I have Jesus, I have compassion, because of course compassion is the running theme throughout the whole entire scripture there. I also have healer, both spiritual and physical, and we talked about that, where Jesus, not only when he touched him did he heal him, but he also physically but spiritually he healed him. I also have over here the town, and underneath it I have the UT game. Now you're probably wondering, why would I have the UT game? But I was thinking about the town, and as Jesus is walking through, how people would probably crowd the town, the city street. And as I was at the game last weekend, I was thinking about this massive crowd that we were standing in, and how that must have been like when Jesus would walk through. People were pressed body upon body just to get a glimpse of Jesus as he walked through. I don't know that, they would ever even make it to the front to touch him, but just to be there, to see him, and to be in the hype of all of it, just to be where he is. And that's what made me think of that. Under here where leper is, I have stigma, shame. I also wrote at the last minute Miriam and King Uzziah, because they're kind of important for why there's a stigma about leprosy. A lot of people associated leprosy with something you had done wrong, some kind of sin or shame. And that came from, in the Old Testament, God actually did allow people to be stricken with leprosy as a perceived punishment for what they had done, the disobedience. So I have sin, and I have outcast, and next to that I have Ryan White. And some of you guys may be the age where you would remember that. If you can remember what a Rubik's Cube is, if you can remember who Michael Jackson is, not our Professor Michael Jackson, but during that era, that's when Ryan White came to be, and a little bit after that. And what he was a kid who happened to have AIDS, and he had been banished from his school. He wasn't allowed to attend the school anymore or anything, because there was such a stigma that came with AIDS at the time. It was automatically assumed you must be a homosexual, you must have done drugs with needles, you must have done something bad to get this disease, because we didn't know back then that you needed to test blood before you would donate it. And so poor Ryan was subjected to getting a blood transfusion that actually had the AIDS virus in it before we tested for such things. And so he was ostracized, he was outcast. And those of you that remember, you would remember Elton John coming to him. There was also Magic Johnson, who came to the forefront. And these are all people that kind of had to dismiss and diminish that stigma that comes with that disease. And that makes me think of leprosy, because truly leprosy wasn't, or isn't now, a disease that's associated with something that you do wrong. It's just a disease that you get, and it looks awful, and certainly it would be a great punishment, but that's, indeed not what it is all the time. And so of course guilt by association was the other one. I'm sure there's many other examples, but I know we were supposed to keep it short, so there you go.